Hey, welcome to Five Tool. I'm so glad that you chose to join us again for another message here on a Sunday morning or whatever day it is that you are watching this. I'm glad that you allowed me to be a part of your day and just to be a small voice of encouragement and hope and equipping to try to take you forward to becoming the person that God has called you to be. My name is Jason. It is my honor and it is a privilege to be able to do this for you each and every week. If you haven't checked out our website, I would highly encourage you to do that. It's just fivetoolministries.com. It should be right down here. And we have blogs on there, a little bit of our core values. Our 5 tools are described. All of our past messages are on there. I'm trying to blog more often, but pretty soon we're going to have some resources up there with some links to different things that I think you guys would enjoy. Everything from like clothing lines to jewelry to books to other blogs or authors. I'm working on all that stuff so that we can really make our online community as well-rounded and as helpful for you as we can. So highly encourage you, go on the website. You can subscribe so that you know when I write or when I post something new. Working on having some guest bloggers and things like that. If you're interested in being a contributor, please let me know that. Like our Facebook page, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter now. Just search for 5 Tool Ministries, and it should come up. So thank you guys for being a part of our story here in the beginning of a ministry that I really think is going to help a lot of people. Today, I want to focus on gratitude again. This will be our second week in a row covering gratitude, but I think it makes sense. Just not only from an athlete's perspective, but from a coach's perspective, from a parent's perspective. We have Thanksgiving coming up next Thursday. And, for me personally, it's one of my favorite holidays. I love it. It's not super commercialized. It is what it is. And so many people celebrate Thanksgiving and they don't have an agenda with it. They don't. There's not like the tension surrounding that holiday of, well, do you believe in it or do you not? It's just, let's just take a day and be thankful. And for me, I try to focus on gratitude a lot, much more than just in November. But this month, it gives us a chance to really focus in and be intentional about how we flesh out gratitude in our lives. And today, I really want to focus on how as an athlete or how as a coach or as a parent of an athlete, how can we work on a thankful heart? There is so much science and data and study that has been done on the effect that gratitude literally has on the physiology of your body. It affects your performance. It affects your thinking. It affects your outlook, your perspective on things. There have been studies in team environments where teams that focus on gratitude have better teamwork and better team culture. And I think gratitude is a very underestimated and underutilized quality that is not injected into sports culture enough. And I just want to focus a little bit on today. We're only going to work on one verse. It's a short verse, and I want to just really hit it hard and give you guys just 3 simple ways to have a thankful heart. And then at the very end, I'm going to give you some benefits, some of the impact that you might see. I think you will see if you can flesh out a thankful heart in your sports world, in your family, in your team, in the locker room, wherever it is. I think if you can start with a grateful heart, you can have a big impact on the people around you and a big impact on your own life. So let's start with reading our verse today, because it's gonna drive everything that we do. But this is found in Colossians chapter 4, verse 2. Colossians chapter 4, verse 2. Now, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I don't know that I've ever actually done it with you guys here. I'm going to give you 2 different versions of this scripture. And one is in the New Living Translation, and then the other is in the Message. I like the way these two, they say the same thing, but they say it in a very different way. The New Living Translation is more of a kind of a formal scripting, and the Message is just more casual conversation, casual wording. So the first one I want to read is in the New Living. It says, devote yourselves to prayer with an alert mind and a thankful heart. Devote yourselves to prayer with an alert mind and a thankful heart. Now, let me read the same thing in the Message. Pray diligently. Stay alert with your eyes wide open in gratitude. Now, what does that mean? What does it mean? I'm going to focus on the Message as I'm teaching you today. Pray diligently. Pretty straightforward. Not only pray, but pray with intent. Pray with purpose. Pray consistently. Pray passionately. Pray with a furious passion and intensity. No, don't just pray, but pray with reason. I like to teach people to pray the same way that you would talk to your best friend. And you know as well as I do that with your best friend, you have some intense conversations. And when life is going well, you're celebrating together. You're sharing those victories. When life's struggling, you're sharing those struggles. It's honest, it's deep, it's pure conversation. There are times that you get angry with your best friend. Some of the most angry words I've ever said have been in prayer, have been in conversations to God. You read the scripture, you see David in the Psalms, you see the book of Lamentations, you see Ecclesiastes, you see Job. Not all of these conversations with God were pleasant and all, butterflies and rainbows. They were raw, intense conversations. Pray honestly, pray with purpose, pray intentionally. That's all he's saying here in the scripture is pray diligently, pray with a purpose. But secondly, look at this. He says stay alert. Now, it only goes so far if you're praying with a purpose, if you're praying intentionally, if you're not staying alert in your life. Now, what I like to say is you need to guard your heart. You need to guard your mind. You need to guard your eyes. If you can guard those three things, if you can protect those three things, think of it this way. Your life, your body is almost like this empire, right? And it is your responsibility to protect the three entrances into that empire. And if you let any outside enemies, any outside negative influence into your empire, you are going to fall. And those three entrances that you've got to protect are your eyes. Protect what you allow yourself to see. Your thoughts. Protect and guard against what you think, what you fill your mind with. And protect your heart. Guard your heart. Guard what's in your soul. Guard what's inside of you. Guard your values. Guard your beliefs. Don't settle for anything that you know is not rooted in your heart. If you can guard those three things, you're going to have a strong, strong self. You're going to have a strong life, a strong empire, if you will. But it's up to you. It is up to you to man those posts. Your eyes, your thoughts, your heart, you man those posts, and you don't let anything through that could deter you from being the strong empire that you know you can be. Build your defenses. Stay alert. Protect yourself. If this is your house, if your life is your house, you protect your house. That's on you. You pray diligently, you stay alert, you protect your house. And then finally, it says, with your eyes wide open in gratitude. What does that mean? Well, to me, it says, look, you're praying intentionally, you're staying alert, you're protecting your house, right? But you have your eyes open in gratitude. It means you are very aware. You are very aware of the blessings in your life. You are very aware of what God is doing around you, what God is doing in you, what God is doing to the people close to you. You are very aware. Your eyes are open to that. You're seeing, you're looking for the things to be grateful for. Now, this is the one I really want to key in on. Because listen, you can pray intentionally, you can guard your heart, but if you're not grateful for the things God is doing, you're going to miss it. God is going to pour out tremendous blessing in your life, and you're going to miss the fact that it was God doing it. And then you're going to become entitled. You're going to think that you deserve that. And that's not the case, you guys. We're told in the book of James that every good thing, every good and perfect thing comes from Jesus. What does it take for us as athletes, as parents of athletes, as coaches? What does it take for us to acknowledge that we are so blessed? The fact that you have the physical ability to do what you do, that you have the mental capacity to handle what you handle, that you are able to manage your time in a way to get everything in, that you have the emotional capacity to handle some of the pressures that you handle, some of the opportunities that you have been given, some of the platforms that some of you have been able to play on, the people you've been able to play in front of. We're so blessed. And all I'm saying is I want us to take a second and really look inside. Because you see, not only do I think we need to stay alert and guard our thoughts and our eyes and our heart, but we need to look. We need to look. We need to be aware, right? We need to see with open eyes. What do I see that I'm grateful for? What do I think about that I'm grateful for? What do I feel? What do I sense? What do I experience that I'm grateful for? Write that stuff down, man. See, not only are you protecting your empire by guarding those 3 entrances, you can build your empire by looking at how strong and how blessed you are in those areas. What are you seeing? What are you thinking? What are you feeling and experiencing? I promise you, you look hard enough, if you search it out, you will find God's blessing. Now, how do we develop this thankful heart? I want to really key in on an athlete's perspective. Coaches, this is for you too. But I think if we do this, it can literally change your team. If you're in an individual sport, it can change the way that you interact with other people in your sport, your trainers, your coaches, whoever you work with. The 3 simple ways that you can start developing a thankful heart and inject gratitude into your competitive world. The first one is simply this. Spend time every week, every single week, reflecting on what you're grateful for. Every single week, at some point, spend some time just reflecting, thinking about what you're grateful for. Now, I would say that the goal for you needs to be to think about 5 to 10 things that you're grateful for every week. Now, what I do, I have a journal, and I just keep adding to my list. And I do this 2 to 3 times a week. And I just keep building on my list throughout the year. And by the end of the year, I can go back on that list and I can see everything that I acknowledged was a blessing. I love that list. There are many things that I write more than once. It's whatever comes to my head that day, and that's okay. But once a week, at least, could you take the time to acknowledge 5 to 10 things that you're grateful for, that you have been blessed with, things you see, things you think of, things you filled your mind with, things that you feel or you experience? 5 to 10 things that you know you're blessed with and that you're grateful for. That's the way we start building a thankful heart. Number 2, make a habit of saying thank you. Make a habit of giving or displaying appreciation. What I like to say often in my church is silent gratitude does not exist. You may feel it. You may feel grateful. You may feel appreciative. But unless you express it, unless you display it, no one will ever know. We can't see what you feel. Your coach can't see what you feel. Coaches, your players can't see what you feel. If you're grateful, if you're appreciative, display it. Work on saying thank you. Work on saying, hey, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you telling me that. I appreciate you teaching me that. I would challenge you athletes, every single practice, before you leave, thank your coach. Coaches, before every game, before every practice, after every game, after every practice, you thank your players. Parents, thank your kids. One day you're going to miss watching them play. One day you're going to miss driving all the hours that you do to run them around to compete. Thank them for sharing in this journey with you and building this life together. Thank your coaches for investing in your kids. Thank your officials. Thank your tournament directors. Thank your academy leaders. Work on making a habit of saying thank you. You can never say thank you too much. When people feel appreciated, they will give you more. When people feel valued, they will try to increase your value. It's what happens in life, guys. Gratitude is a relational transaction. And it literally is a transaction that we need to close. We need to complete the circle of. You do something for me, I close the transaction when I acknowledge it and say thank you. I do something for you, you acknowledge it, you return, you close the transaction and say thank you. I appreciate that. But when that transaction is left open, when it's not closed, it affects relationships. That's just the reality. And it leads to people feeling taken for granted. It leads to people feel like they're wasting their time. People feeling like they're just being used. Feeling like all they do is give and give and give and no one ever pours back into them. Just simply injecting gratitude into that situation changes that person's life. And you can do it. I can do it. Spend time reflecting on your gratitude. Make a habit of saying thank you. And number 3, this is going to sound weird, trust me, but positive touch and verbal acknowledgement. Now, here's what I mean. I'm not a toucher. I can't stand it when people touch me. I'm a very private, introverted guy. But when I play baseball, I'm a fist bumper. I'm a high fiver. I'll give you a pat on the backside if you did something well. You get me in that world. You get me on my stage at my church. I'm going to give my team fist bumps. I'm going to give them high fives. I'm going to handshake. There's something about positive reinforcement that when you see a teammate, you acknowledge what you saw them do. You know, in baseball, I live in Kansas, and one of the things I loved back when the Royals were actually playing good ball, right? We went to 2 World Series there, and just amazing defense. We honestly, we didn't have the best team around, but we had an amazing team culture. We had guys that loved playing with each other. They acknowledged each other. And what you'd notice is when somebody made an amazing defensive play, they would all tip their hat. And it was this simple, subtle way by saying, hey, I saw that. I saw that. That was amazing. That was good. Thank you. Thank you. And what happens is when you acknowledge what you see someone else doing, it makes them feel validated. It makes them feel valued. It makes them feel like they contributed to your team's success. How often do we see people make amazing plays and we're just like, he does that all the time. She does that all the time. And we take for granted the amazing things people around us are doing because we've just come to expect it. Here, listen. Even if you expect it from them, acknowledge your gratitude for it. Fist bumps, high fives, bear hugs, whatever, do a chest bump. I don't care what you do. Find ways to physically say, hey, thank you. That was amazing. I'm so proud of you. I'm so excited for you. Sometimes you just need a good fist bump, right? Sometimes you need a good handshake. You need somebody to tip their hat to you. You need somebody to, hey, give you one of these, right? Acknowledge with your words. When you see somebody that does something well, say, hey man, I saw that. Good job. Nice work. Way to hustle. Way to beat that out. When you see people working hard and overcoming things in their life, you acknowledge it. Now, what are the benefits of this, real quickly? I think one of the huge benefits of gratitude is it takes the focus off of you and puts it on God for how He's blessed you, and it puts it on other people for what you see in them and for what you see them doing for you. But it takes the focus off of you. When you're focused on a thankful heart, you're focused on the things that have happened to you, but not in a selfish way. You're focused on the source of those things. So when I'm focusing on my gratitude for coaches in my life, I'm not focused on me. I'm focused on the coach that is invested in me. It takes the focus off of you. Number 2, it forces you to recognize truly how blessed you are. Every one of you, myself included, are more blessed than we think we are. And if you can focus on building a thankful heart, the impact of that, the benefit of that, is you start to realize more and more how truly blessed you are. 3, some of you aren't going to like this one, but it's okay. Number 3, a thankful heart, a grateful heart, has less room to complain. When you start realizing how blessed you are, when you start expressing how thankful and how appreciative you are, you find that you have much less room to complain about your life. When you're focused on thanking people, when you're focused on being grateful for things and blessings in your life, you just stop thinking about the things you want to complain. Here, my desire for you, 5 Tool, is simply this. As we head into Thanksgiving, I want you to pray intentionally. Pray honestly, pray raw. But in those prayers, would you just express some gratitude to God? How He's blessed you, the ways He's blessed you, the ways He's loved you. Would you stay alert? Would you guard your heart? Would you guard your thoughts? Would you guard your eyes? Build boundaries in your life. Protect your house. And finally, would you have your eyes open in gratitude? Would you be aware of the things in your life that you should be grateful for? Now, I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving. I'm going to be traveling back to Indiana next week to visit some family members, and I'm going to be there for the whole week. So I'm going to take next week off. But I would encourage you, go to our website, go back, watch some of the old videos, catch up on something that you missed, and I will be back the week after Thanksgiving. Guys, thank you so much. You have no idea how grateful I am for each and every one of you for helping me build our 5 Tool family. God bless and take care.